The Mayor will now provide an oral update of up to 5 minutes or so in length on matters occurring since the publication of his reports. Mr Mayor, welcome.
Good morning. Can I begin by wishing everyone a very happy New Year? Chair, I'm going to spare Rebecca's blushes by asking who the most difficult and challenging chair is to advise. I'm sure we know the answer. Tonight I'll be giving a speech at the annual London Government Dinner, where I'm going to be talking about one of the major challenges that's set to face our city, the impact of artificial intelligence. AI presents so many opportunities for our society, from boosting the rapid growth of our incredible tech sector to revolutionising our public services and turbocharging productivity across a wide range of sectors and industries. However, we also need to be clear-eyed about the risks and dangers this new technology can pose to Londoners. Just this week, we've read shocking reports of how X's AI tool Grok is being used to undress women in photos online and create sexualised images, including of children. I'm sure members of the Assembly would agree with me that this is utterly appalling and that Ofcom is right to launch an investigation. We know from our experience with social media that when we're too slow to respond to new technology and put in place effective guardrails, there can be severe costs. In the case of AI, I'm also concerned about the impact it could have on London's labour market, with entry-level roles at risk and jobs potentially disappearing faster than new ones can be created. In fact, research suggests that because of AI, 70% of skills in the average job will have changed by 2030. That's only 4 years away. So, if you want to future-proof our economy and our workforce, we need to act now to support Londoners to get the skills they need to cope with this transition and make the most of the incredible opportunities that AI creates. And that's why I'm announcing today that we'll be launching a new London task force on AI and the future of work, as well as commissioning free AI skills training, which we'll make available to Londoners. This is all part of our efforts to make sure that AI works for Londoners and that it will help us build a fairer, safer and more prosperous London for everyone. Thank you, Chair. I look forward to answering questions during the course of the next few hours.
OK, thank you very much for that. We can now move to questions on the priority order of paper. Each group is allocated an amount of time to ask questions that is proportional to their political group size. The first question is titled Actions as Mayor, from Assembly Member Hall.
I thank the member for a question and Happy New Year. I'm extremely proud of my record as Mayor and the progress made last year to make London a fairer, safer, greener and more prosperous city. In November, I announced we had reached the incredible milestone of delivering 100 million free school meals to our state primary school children. I know this is a policy opposed by some in the Assembly, but as a result of the choice I made, every child in every state primary in London is now receiving a healthy, nutritious meal every day. As well as benefiting young people, this policy is giving families much-needed support during the cost of living crisis, saving parents on average £500 per child per year. This is a lifeline for many, following the disastrous economic legacy of the previous government. Nothing is more important to me than giving Londoners the best possible start in life. This includes ensuring that our young people are safe, and I'm proud that last year, London reached its lowest homicide rate in recorded history per capita. 2025 also saw the fewest number of homicides of victims aged under 25 in London this century, and the fewest teenage homicides in almost 3 decades. This is hugely encouraging and proof that our approach is the right one. One homicide is one too many as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not complacent. But these impressive results are the product of our deliberate strategy to drive down violence by backing our police service through record funding from City Hall and funding vital resources for our young people, from youth clubs to mentors, and our violence reduction unit, which has been instrumental to our success. I'm also proud that we've managed to secure from the government a series of measures that will make London a better place in which to live, work and invest in, including securing the DLR extension to Thamesmead, new powers to implement a tourist levy and agreeing an integrated settlement for London. Crucially, scrapping the 2-child benefit cap, which I've long campaigned for, will have a significant impact across London. I'm not complacent, there's always work to do. But perhaps what I most regret is that I haven't challenged enough those who pretend this isn't progress, and also who constantly talk down our capital for their own political gain, rather than defending what the capital represents and celebrating our success.
Thank you, Mayor, and Happy New Year to you too. I have every confidence that you actually do regret your response to me when I asked you, it's a year ago now, about grooming gangs, and you pretended that you knew nothing about it. And as you know, I've had lots of victims have contacted me since, both furious that you pretended you knew nothing about it, also telling me their terrible stories. But do you regret that your government's failures in handling the national inquiry into grooming gangs in London has taken more than a year to appoint a chair, and the inquiry still does not have even the basic terms of reference?
Can I thank the member for her question and greetings? I think the starting point for this conversation must always be victims and survivors, and I'm really pleased you mentioned the victims and survivors. They've been let down for a long, long time, not just in the northern towns, but we know across the country. That's why I support the recommendation for there to be a national inquiry made by Dame Louise Casey. I'm disappointed that none of the recommendations made by the previous inquiry from Alexis J were implemented by the previous government. I'm pleased there's now a chair in place and a team to advise the chair. I'm disappointed it's taken this long. I agree with her for the National Inquiry's work to begin, to reassure her the Met Police Service will be fully cooperating with the National Inquiry. They've already begun the task of going back 15 years in relation to potential opportunities lost to catch bad people and protect women and girls. And I'm more than happy to get the police to brief her offline in relation to further work being undertaken.
Well, I'm glad you recognise this now, Mayor, because it is so serious and it's so terrible and tragic, and I hope things do happen about it. But actually, women and girls are losing confidence in the police due to consistent failures in vetting. We saw that this week. Do you regret that MOPAC-led initiative Stride, which prioritised diversity and inclusion programmes over adequate vetting and allowed a serial rapist, PC Cliff Mitchell, to join the force despite a prior rape accusation, and then he went on to rape 2 more women while as a serving officer? I mean, that was appalling. Do you regret that?
I'm very angry that people like David Carrick and Cliff Mitchell and many others have been allowed to join the police service when they clearly shouldn't have been allowed. The Met Police Service and other police services were wrong to lower the bar because the government was demanding they recruit 20,000 officers in a short period of time. That meant the bar was lowered, and we saw vetting, rather than it being the normal 5-6% rejections, going down to 2%. To reassure the member and Londoners, the people rejected during vetting is now approaching 11%, which shows that we've strengthened the processes for those coming into the police service. The 2 things I've complained about regularly over the last few years is far too easy to become a police officer, far too difficult to get rid of rogue officers. The good news, this Commissioner and myself have been successful in lobbying the government to change the vetting rules and change the misconduct rules. So it's possible now, it wasn't before, to remove an officer who's failed vetting, but she's right. There are dangerous people who are allowed to become police officers who abuse their position to cause damage to Londoners. I'm incredibly sorry for any Londoner who suffered because of these people getting through. And it's not just bad apples, though. The whole culture needs to be changed in the police service.
But Mayor, this has gone on, and it was before the Uplift programme. More than a year before that Uplift programme began, HMI Inspectorate of the Constabulary wrote to your Deputy Mayor warning that appropriate measures for preventing officers abusing their position for sexual purposes were not in place, and that 33% of police officers, 72% of PCSOs and 45% of staff did not have up-to-date security vetting. Were you aware of that in 2018 and 2019?
Neither was I aware that I approve of the bar being lowered. The timeline, I don't want to have an argument, I think it's a bit wrong. I'm more than happy to send the member a timeline. The Met Police has gone back now 10 years, in some cases 15 years, in relation to a number of the actions from Dame Louise Casey's report, not just Jericho, Onyx, Ashore and many others. Because the point Dame Louise Casey was making is we've got to change the culture. And one of the ways this Commissioner has done that is going back checking people's, not just P&C checks, not just checking complaints against officers to do with sexual allegations, but also vetting as well, which is the Jorica results. The one final point to make is really important. This was a proactive review the Met Police undertook, which uncovered some of this, which is really important. HMI's point was a point made to a number of police forces as a consequence of the uplift exercise, the PUP exercise, but I'm more than happy to get the team to write to the member.
Yeah, I'd like to see a timeline, but we've got to face facts. This chap was told, everybody was aware that this chap should not have been taken on, but because of the diversity rules, he was signed through. There are other people now that are not vetted properly in the Met. This is something that is ongoing, Mayor. You've been told about this since you began as Mayor, and nobody's looking into it properly. And more things will happen because of this, and I don't think anybody's taking it seriously. It's no good saying it's because of the Uplift programme. That is incorrect. These officers need to be vetted properly, and they haven't been. And there are still officers out there that have not been vetted correctly.
I mean, just to be clear, Chair, it's very important. This goes to trust and confidence. David Carrick is not black, but he got through. So there are problems with the way police have been vetting or not vetting. In addition to Jorica, I'm really pleased and I welcome the Home Secretary asking HMI to look again in relation to the police processes. The Commissioner is confident that he strengthened vetting to the extent where they're one of the best in the country, if not the best. But we welcome the HMI looking into the vetting taking place currently. But it is the case that people got through and became Met Police officers who shouldn't. Not just those applying fresh, but transferees in as well. And that's one of the reasons why the corrective reviews is welcome. And also we welcome the HMI looking into this as well.
Yeah, and they have been for ages, and my time's up. Thank you, Chairman.